Colin, Farrell, and Margot, Robbie take us on a big, bold, beautiful journey. Spoiler free. Let's talk.
This is Popcorn for Breakfast, presented by St. Louis Area Smoothie Kings. Now, here are your hosts, Cam and Kurt.
Welcome to Popcorn for Breakfast, the spoiler-free movie review podcast. And with me, as always, this is Cam.
Hello. Excited to be here.
And my name's Kirk. And we have a special guest with us today. And his name is Stefano. Stefano, say hi.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be back.
Yay!
Yes.
We're always glad. Stefano is like, for us, like, you know, we're at the news desk here, but Stefano's in the field, and he's seeing all the gringy...
Let's take it to Stefano in the field.
He's out there doing the hardest work of us all, and I feel like we plummet him with fantastic movies, actually. And in fact, we've never sent him to a bad movie, I don't think.
No, he usually gets yeah, right. Hold on. I'll let him get the final word on that. But I will say that I feel like he has seen a lot of good movies that I wish that I saw. There's a lot of times where we're like, hey, we can't go to this one. Like, do you want to write a blog about it? Or do you want to do this? Or he jumps up and he's like, I want to see this. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a good movie. And a lot of times they end up being really good. Mm-hmm. And I end up being real mad at myself.
I am forever envious of your pre-release theatrical screening of Sing Sing that came out like 3 months before the rest of the world saw it.
That's one we missed, yeah.
And that's mainly because A24 botches releases so frequently. Like they messed that up. So
yeah.
But yeah.
Yes.
But
well,
no, thank you for the opportunity to see those movies. Yeah, mostly has been a lot of fire, so appreciate it.
Yeah, and tonight Stefano and I got to see A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. Kirk was busy, which is fine. He doesn't think it's fine.
I'm
but
jealous.
It was fine.
I'm hopefully going to be less jealous in a minute. We'll find out.
You're going to root on this movie's downfall like that? Wow.
Because I couldn't see it. That's right.
That's brutal. But you get to play the role of panel host here, which I feel like you're kind of born for that role. So this will be good. This will be a good discussion.
Thank you. And with the control of the mic, I just want to let you think of something. I want you guys to hear something that I've been thinking about, rather, all the way my entire car ride over here. It's a great, big, bold, beautiful journey.
That's what this
Shining at the end of every day.
Yeah.
It's a big, bold, beautiful journey. Right?
Stefano called it. Stefano referenced the one big beautiful bill, which is something I had not connected. I had not connected a great big beautiful tomorrow. I have no fun mnemonic devices for this movie at all.
No, I think they're all working against it.
Yeah, I tried to acronym it. I don't recommend doing that. It just does not work. Nothing works. The marketing team at Columbia Pictures has to be stressing. They've all got their sleeves rolled up, their ties loosened. They're like, God, how do they expect us to sell this movie?
Just with Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie's faces. That's it.
Which is exactly what they've done with the promotional materials in the trailer. Like I saw one trailer for this movie, and it was essentially that. It was like, see a sappy like Colin Farrell, Margot Robbie type movie. Now the three of us were familiar with the director of this film ahead of time. Kogonada is his name. He's a Korean American director.
Yeah.
And I saw both of he's directed 2 feature films prior to this one, and I saw both of them this year. So I feel very fresh on the Kogonada train. You guys have been banging that drum for a while because you saw his directorial debut Columbus a while ago, and both of you were like, this is a great movie. And then he had After Yang come out, which was like 2021 2022 I think,
Also with Colin Farrell.
And that was like during COVID, and I didn't see that one at the time, but you guys both watched that one as well. But so this is a director that I don't feel like the general public is very familiar with, understandably so. And so it was probably harder from that perspective to sell it. But like typically, I would say his first 2 films are he wrote and directed both of the first 2 films. He did not write this one. Stefano informed me of that right before we jumped into that one. So that was new for me. A guy named Dan Weiss wrote this one. But Kogonada's movies tend to be very I don't know. Like here's how I would describe it, Stefano, and then you can build where I miss. Like I think he builds a world that feels very lived in. He's got great, beautiful
Bold journey.
Yeah, I did walk right into that one. But no, like his shot composition is very thoughtful and intentional. He's like a student of the game. I was reading up on him earlier today for the first time. I never really like looked into his background. He got started by like making video essays about filmmaking and about like television. Like his first one was Breaking Bad. What? And then like Criterion grabbed him and was like, we want you to do video essays for us and Sight and Sound. And now he's making like feature films. So it's kind of a really cool story. But anyway, like his filmmaking style is very intentional. It's very, he lets things breathe. He lets us sit and think about things and lets dialogue kind of drive it. And it's just a very like, I don't know, Columbus I thought was really, really, really good. And after Yang too. So, I mean, he's an interesting filmmaker prior to heading into this already.
That's right. Kogonada, like Madonna, just one letter
name.
more than her. I really like his work. I saw After Yang first, and then Stefano keeps this secret list if ever you all want to have it.
It's not secret. Hey, it's in the link.
Blowing up your spot.
My Instagram bio is the link to my.
Oh, good.
Oh man, I thought we were special.
Take it off there right now. Go hide it.
Sell it.
And I was scrolling through. I was like, "Wait a second! I've watched a Kogonada film. I'd like to watch this." And I was interested in the content of what the movie was about because I had some background, a connection to it, to the content of it. And I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." And so jealous. I'm sitting here, super jealous again. I hope you had a terrible night right before this because you just got back from seeing the film, the early screening. So I think we should just go ahead and dive right in if you guys are prepared to talk about the movie, spoiler free.
I'm ready.
Stefano?
I'm ready as well. Yeah,
perfect. We're going to shake things up here today. We're not going to do our typical 5 categories just to keep you on your toes. We're going to talk about who the best Oscars are and the Oscars go to, plural, for us tonight. Then we're going to have some pros and cons of the movie. And then we're just going to do last looks with our final scores from each of you gentlemen. All right, gentlemen, first an arm wrestle through the screens because you're not in the same place. Can you go ahead and decide who will go first?
I'm going to decide that Stefano goes first because I already blabbed a bunch about Kogonada, and so people need to hear Stefano's thoughts.
Sounds good.
Stefano, tell us about the Oscars and who they should go to today.
So, I know we were kind of talking a bit offline before this. It's very much a 2-person show. So I think, our time's kind of best suited talking through those 2 performances and maybe some other performances we liked in there that kind of snuck up on us. So I'll talk first on Colin Farrell because I love Colin Farrell so much. And there was a time in his career where he was making more of those rom-coms, kind of those sappy movies where you just have a very good looking Irish man, schmooze his way through a movie. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
That's me.
But
I'm a very good looking.
But we kind of had this renaissance of amazing Colin Farrell performances, and he's now, people used to roll their eyes at him, but now he is a big ticket item. So you're excited for his new movies, and I think with this film you get a lot of that Colin Farrell charm that you come to expect, and I loved his performance in it, but I also wish that there was more for him to do. I think Colin Farrell plays a character that I think most anybody could play very well, just because of the kind of universality of, I think we'll touch on this later, like the universality and generalness of a lot of like the topics and conversations that take place in the movie. So Colin Farrell does it all beautifully, but I do think, it's a performance that was easy for him. Not that I want him to struggle through a film, but I love when actors can kind of be challenged by a role and really chew on it a lot throughout the movie. But I still love what he was able to give us. I don't know, Cam, if you have any thoughts on Colin Farrell.
I have this thought before you begin that Stefano just wanted to like kind of rough him up, like just like shake him, like give me something better,
Yeah,
either him or the writer.
No, I think there is there is sort of a. We'll talk, I'm sure, about, I plan to talk about the screenplay a little bit more there too, but I think kind of what Stefano's alluding to is similar to how I'm feeling about this movie in that, like, I wanted a level deeper. I felt myself like kind of longing for a level deeper. This is one of those movies like the other Kogonada films, and even though he didn't write this one, this is still very much like stylistically, thematically in line with some things that he's done. It's, a lot of the themes are around vulnerability, the human experience, love, connection, all of those things that we tend to see. But yeah, I wanted it to go deeper, and I too like wanted to see Colin Farrell get to be. I wanted the full Colin Farrell experience, and so there are scenes where he really pops, and every scene he does so many things, so many little human touches so effortlessly. It's crazy how he's able to get himself there, even though like it might be a scene that I don't feel like is working well. Like it might be a scene that like I don't feel like they executed the best, and yet he's still there. Like he's still locked into the place, and you're like, all right, well, like that helps me buy into it. So he's really, to Stefano's point, a really, really talented actor who has come a long way. And yeah, I mean, he's appointment viewing now for sure.
He is, yeah. Just three dudes, if you're tuning in right now, which I don't know why you would be this far in, but just three dudes talking about vulnerability.
Yeah, you got to watch out, because this is one of those things. I'm literally reading a book on vulnerability right now, and then I was listening to that audiobook on the way to the movie, and then I saw this movie, and then I listened to it on the way home, and I'm like, that's weird. Like I just picked it up today, and I had no idea what this movie was about, and then I saw it, and I'm like, wow, apparently I'm supposed to be going on a big, bold, beautiful, emotional journey in my life right now.
I think, that's a perfect point before we continue, it's that movies find us at the right time, honestly. Yeah. You might be going through something heavy or light, or you might need something light to break up the craziness of your world or the world. And I think that is why I know that I do, but I'm generalizing the two of you do too. You're like, I gotta crave something. I've got to pour my emotions into this movie to shoot back at myself, to kind of know that I'm okay and the world's okay. So yeah, I think that's great.
It can be easier to access your own emotions through a movie. The movie or a story or anything, but any sort of art can act as a conduit to kind of access emotions that you don't always process well on your own.
Right.
So, yeah, it's cool.
Perfect. Stefano, I spoke for you, but are you in that same position? You're craving
100%.
Movies? Okay, I love
Absolutely. Well, actually, and I was telling you folks before that I was looking forward to maybe a nice cry from this movie. And we'll find out if that happened or not. But,
I can't wait.
I'm always looking forward to that. So
I'm trying to look at your shirt to see if there's like wet stains.
Oh, I changed.
So yes, he was out.
It was drenched.
So yeah, Cam, do you want to touch on kind of Margot Robbie's performance? I know she's kind of the other half of this.
Yeah, happy to. I think I like Margot Robbie. I find her to be a very formidable actor. I did feel like this was a bit of an uneven performance for her, in my opinion, and I felt like at times she had trouble connecting with her character. And at times I had trouble connecting with her character. It was the beginning of this movie and sort of like the inciting where these two characters cross paths initially felt very forced. It felt a little clunky, and it was hard for me to get a bearing on who Margot Robbie's character Sarah was. And that feeling kind of stuck with me longer into the movie than I wanted to. I think she does find her way, and she has some really great moments, particularly in the back half of this movie. So that's why it's uneven. It's not that it's all bad. It's that there are moments where it's like, okay, well, that's Margot. I mean, she's doing the things that she can do so well. But there are times where I'm like, I don't know if it's, there are things that I don't love about the dialogue in this movie. Maybe she was having trouble connecting with it in that way too. Like maybe it was just like not coming naturally to her, or maybe, first time working with this director, maybe they're still kind of figuring things out. I mean, you never know like what's going on set or what's going on, with the working dynamic and things like that. But I would say that, like, not to compare the two, but like Colin Farrell seemed much more comfortable with the material, with the film, with the world that they were in, and Margot Robbie it seemed like more of an effort from her. Yeah,
I totally agree with what you're saying, Cam. And I know we're talking about it's very much both of their movie, but the movie is introduced and starts with Colin Farrell, and basically Margot Robbie's character is introduced into his world, and then they become, mutually splitting. They mutually split the movie the rest of the way, basically.
Okay.
So that's why it's kind of, I get, Cam, what you're saying. It's kind of hard to see how she fits into it. because she seems a little more nebulous and like more of an enigma than she actually really ends up being.
Yeah.
Something else that I was thinking about that's a little frustrating is Colin Farrell's, typically able to they just let him use his natural Irish accent. And I think part of it too is, Margot Robbie has to put on an American accent, but
true.
for what reason? And I feel like if they're going to write it into his character that he can speak with an Irish accent, like let Margot Robbie do her thing too, because I feel like if you don't have to think about that part of it and you can just let that go, then you might find, some more success, because you could feel her straining a little bit. Yes, because the dialogue struggles a bit sometimes, but it'd be, she'd probably feel a little better just speaking like she normally would in this movie.
Yeah, did she have like just like a generic
American
accent?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even
Non-regional
harder.
dialect.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say like that's a really good point. I did not even cross my mind.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic point. And yeah, like we never get any real specifics about where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's great. But
Yeah.
to Stefano's point, it's like if you're going to do that and you're going to make that conscious of a choice, then like make the choice,
Totally.
and like lean into it and be like, it doesn't matter where we're at.
Right.
And they can sound however they sound.
Totally.
And that's just how it is.
Right.
Yeah, it was very intentional. They're both from the same unnamed city. And half the time you don't really know where you're at. And that's all intentional. It's pretty storybook that way, which is something I liked about it. But
They're
yeah.
from the same unnamed city, yet Colin Farrell has his very native Irish
Well,
accent.
he explains it. They explain it.
They explain it. Yeah.
Okay. You guys aren't selling me on it. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know that we're necessarily supposed to be selling you. We're just giving our honest opinions, right?
Where do we go from here, gentlemen? Do we talk about some other pros that you enjoyed, or do you want to throw this movie under the bus some more? What do you prefer? Where do you feel like the journey you would like to go on next?
Yeah, it's a tough.
You want to go big? You want to go
think-
bold?
I don't know.
You
I
wanna
think
go beautiful.
I think it might be easier to build on maybe some of the flaws we were seeing, and then
Yeah.
we can kind of see where the movie did win us over in some
And
parts.
flowered up at the end. So it's like the reverse of our normal.
Yeah.
We like give really nice things and then we crap on it and then we give our score. Okay, cool.
I
Keep
think
going.
This will
What
tell a
else?
better story.
What else do you hate? Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
No, nothing I hate. And I don't think there's anything I really hated. I think it was more of just the unevenness and with some of the frustration, because there is a lot that was good that I did enjoy about it and that I liked about it. And Cam, I know you're going to talk about maybe script and dialogue. So I'll let you kind of touch on that. I think one thing that frustrated me a little bit was the lack of depth, especially like having seen Columbus and After Yang, obviously knowing Kogonada wrote those films, he didn't write this one. You can see the outline of a Kogonada movie, but you really want that emotional and intellectual depth from the characters and what they're going through and their discussions, and you kind of just don't get it. The movie's kind of broken out into little, you can see in the trailer there are different doors, and they kind of go back into their moments in their life. And I think what they struggle with is to make this more universal for a wide audience. They kind of make general outlines of ideas and struggles that they kind of breeze over and talk to so that everybody can connect to them. And instead you get kind of this like, well, yeah, I get it, nodding my head, instead of maybe having a smaller portion of the audience really having it really resonate with them in a more specific way, which is how some movies, like, not that this is anything like this, but like After Sun, for example, it feels like such a specific time in somebody's life, specific moment, and things like that, and it just hits you in such a different way because of just the specificness of it. And this really lacks a specificness, and it really let me down in that way. And then Cam, I'll let you kind of touch on that and go, because I know there's other things I want to talk about, but they don't relate as much to that.
Yeah, I think the word that I would use is there's like a lack of conviction here. There's like a real lack in the writing of the film and of the story. There's a lack of confidence to say like, I built characters that speak for themselves, and if they have unique experiences and unique backgrounds, like it doesn't matter that like not everybody's going to be able to connect to this specific thing. The way that a movie like After Sun or a movie like Anora or any of these other movies where it's a really intense, like, character study, character driven story works, is that they're going through an experience that you have not probably gone through. It's probably hyper unique to the story in their situation, but their humanity is what you can relate to, and you can experience that through their story and find things out about yourself through that. This movie didn't have the confidence to go there. This movie, to Stefano's point, scoped out, and in doing so, they made it shallower and they made it less genuine, and so it starts to feel a little bit just kind of pandery. Like we're pandering to an audience. We're trying to tap into that, like, who are people that like, I'm not trying to offend anybody at all. And so I'll be very careful, but like, who are people that like traditionally sappy type, like movies and stories. Like there is a market for that. There is a whole, line of novels and movies and TV shows that appeal to that specific person, because that person just wants to feel their big emotions and feel sappy, and it doesn't need to be that good. It's just they don't engage with it in the same way that like we do, and that's fine.
It's kind of like the people who love to watch every single episode of Law and Order SVU.
Exactly. Like, like it's a different version of like the NCIS crowd of people, and that's fine. Like, that's how they turn off their brain, and I turn off my brain in other ways, and that's totally fine.
And it's a good point you bring up, Cam, because I also wish that it would, like, if it was going to go maybe a direction we would vibe with more, great. But also, if it would have been even more, if it could be even more sappy, or even more, like, it doesn't go down that path that far either.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of left in this middle ground of trying to satisfy everybody.
So it's a little too vague. It could have been more specific for both of you.
And I equate that directly with a lack of conviction and a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
And just like, you have something you want to say, but you're scared to be vulnerable. You don't want to be, you don't want to go all the way there. And I totally misnamed the writer earlier. I said his name was like Dan Weiss. His name is Seth Rice. So I sincerely apologize for that. I'm usually much better about that.
I just got an email. Oh no, he's so mad.
But he has a comedy background in general. And so, and there are moments in here with like some really good comedic punches. And so you can see that shine through. And I think, and he also wrote the Menu, Stephanie pointed out before. And so,
I love that movie.
Yeah. Capable writer. Right. And I think that it's one of those things, like it's just, there was something missing from this that he couldn't tap into or wasn't there, and I think it hurts it.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite the shift from The Menu with Ray Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult to The Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. That's something happened in his life, or he really needed a job. I'm not sure which one it was.
Yeah, I don't know, but
maybe both. Stefano, is it time for flowers? Is it
time? We can do that.
Wait, I'm not ready. One more small thing.
Go ahead, and I'll do one more small thing
just too. Twist the knife a little more. And then we'll go.
No, I think so. The movie is kind of in this fantastical setting, like we've discussed. And one thing that I guess can kind of rub me the wrong way is if something is functioning a certain way, if there's a set of rules a movie sets, and I need it to either tell me what the rules are, or make it obvious what the rules are without telling me. So what we get is, and when we go through these doors, we get these, flashbacks, or not even flashbacks. The Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell step into these old memories. And what we get is a different way that each of these memories works. Sometimes they're there as their exacts, like Margot Robbie's in there as a 37-year-old person, and that's what she looks like. But Colin Farrell looks like his 15-year-old self. But then maybe in another, memory they go back to, Colin Farrell is there as himself at his current age, or maybe another time he's actually somebody else. So the inconsistency there is kind of frustrating, because I didn't know why that was happening. It's fine maybe that it was, but I would like to kind of know why, because the whole movie's based around these memories and this setup. So just the inconsistency there, just to make the story work, I think it's a little cheap, and it's a little, I don't love that I was thinking about that. Like, why is he like this? So that was a bit of a bummer for me.
Well, I'm mad and I didn't even see the movie. I'm just upset about that choice right there.
Yeah, I had similar issues. It reminds me, like, really, really extreme example of that exact issue is the movie Yesterday with Hamish Patel, where, like, where, like, the rules of that world kind of make sense at the beginning, but it quickly devolves into mass chaos. So by the end, there are so many plot holes and continuity errors, like you have no idea what's going on. Like that's kind of, again, extreme example, but that's like that exemplifies kind of the issue that this movie had. My other big issue with this movie was the chronology of it, and when they decided to cut hard to a new scene at times was very abrupt. Like it felt like we were cutting the scene off mid-sentence sometimes. Like not literally, but like in terms of what the scene needed to accomplish. We were just like, boom, and now we're here. And it was just like very abrupt, and that was difficult to understand. And I know that like Kogonada kind of does that a little bit, in that he will just kind of like, and we're done here. Now we're over here, like doing this certain specific thing, and that's fine. But like with the story, it didn't really blend. It didn't feel like there was a cohesion there. It felt like there was an intent to create a certain effect, but I don't know that the effect generated was what they were wanting with it.
Yeah, it's a little more jarring in this type of film because the setting changes so much. So it feels way more jumpy, whereas Columbus and After Yang are just more of a cohesive piece. So
exactly.
the abrupt cuts do it justice.
Yeah,
totally
in his first two films, I feel like there's a lot of space within the dialogue and within the characters, and all of a sudden you have this new establishing shot that you're just like hypnotized to where you are. So I don't feel like that would ever fit, only after seeing the trailer, how that would fit with the motif of this movie.
I will say the one thing, and it's small enough to not even bring up in this next segment, is there were some flashes of Kogonada letting some extended conversations breathe with some silence, which I appreciated so much. There were moments of silence, but then also the opposite, which was, maybe I'll talk about it in the last looks, but beautiful moments of silence, but then also the complete opposite.
Like in Thunderbolts. I don't know if you guys had that complaint, but man, in Thunderbolts, when we get them all together, they're just like firing off conversation. I'm like, guys, calm down. I'm trying to keep up.
It's like a who's got the best one-liner competition, which is like often what
It's
Marvel
too
turns
much.
into.
It's too much. Well, let's get into the things that you like the most, the pros of a big, bold, beautiful journey.
Yeah, I'll kick us off here, and I'll be super brief. And it's not because there aren't a bunch of things that I like about it. I would say I almost like as much as I dislike about this movie, But I think the biggest thing for me is I love the way that Kogonada is able to manufacture is a weird word to use, but like manufacture intimacy. Like he understands how to make us feel, not intimacy in the way that you think like intimacy coordinator, but like intimacy in the sense of
I didn't think that at all, Cam.
No, I just mean like when you hear that word, you think like intimacy, but I mean like feeling like you're seeing someone in a real spot. Like that you're viewing them in their natural environment and it's not a show, And the way that he does this in a lot of his movies and in this one too is he'll like have somebody walk in, but you're only viewing them through a mirror that's like on the wall over here. And like, but you're seeing them through the mirror, or you're seeing them from the back windshield of the car, like through the windshield. And so it's a lot of like just giving you space from them and making it feel like here they are in their little like world, and here I am like silently viewing them, and it makes you feel like you're seeing something a lot more human, a lot more genuine and real. This super evident in Columbus, and something I really love about that movie, but it's evident in everything Kogonada does. So I think he understands how to make those moments, those silent moments, those quiet moments feel human with the lens, and I think that it's beautifully done here as well as his other movies.
Peering into someone's life.
Yep.
No, you're exactly right. And I think that's where, and it kind of sounds like, unfortunately, most of the issues we had with it had to do with script, screenplay, things like that, where Kogonada was kind of trying to do the best he could with this this type of story and with this story. I'm sure if he had written it, it'd be much different. And I think this is a script that kind of is, the screenplay has been out there for a bit. I think I saw that it was part of kind of this like 2020 blacklisted scripts. And it's not necessarily meaning that it's a bad screenplay or anything like that, but it's one that hasn't been picked up, and maybe for certain reasons, you know.
Yeah.
So but yeah, Kogonada's, you know, frame composition is just beautiful. I feel like he's a glutton for architecture, and you can see so much of it in what he does in this movie as well. You know, the doors themselves were beautiful, and seeing how he framed those and all that was spectacular. So I really loved that. Also, I want to give a shout out to the score. The score I really, really loved. It was an original score from composer Joe Hisashi. And Joe Hisashi is a very famous composer. So he's composed on some Miyazaki films. So Boy and the Heron, Spirited Away, Ponyo, I believe. So always composed, but this is his first original score. And it's a lovely score. It fits the feel of the movie so much. And it makes it always comes to this when I'm here, but with the non-diegetic music.
There it is.
What?
It's just so frustratingly distracting, so on the nose, and it just completely pulls me away from the lovely score. Like, usually you fill in the time with so many songs if you don't have the capability to have an original score, especially with something like this. It feels pretty rare to have a score. So you figure the whole thing would be the score, because it is lovely, and a lot of it movie is silent as well when they're conversing, and there's a lot of that beautiful stillness, but then also some very cringy needle drops, very obvious lyrics and songs, and the couple songs I love out of the context of the movie. There's a lovely Mitski song in this movie, but I don't love how it's used in it, which was a bit of a bummer. But
yeah,
we're talking
drops were wild.
They were.
They were wild.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Cam?
No, I can almost guarantee I'm not.
Yeah. I think our next T-shirt should have non-diegetic on it, just
Yes,
right
somewhere.
across the chest.
One
I
of
think.
those like definition T-shirts.
That's right.
You know?
But yeah, the score was awesome. The shot composition was really great, and I think some of the supporting performances. I know we didn't talk about it in the acting portion, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge was super hilarious in this. She had a pretty small role.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge sighting.
Where'd she come from?
Exactly. A really nice performance from her. Very funny stuff. So yeah.
Well, beautiful. Art and bold and big and Journey. Are you guys ready to put your last looks and score on this?
Yes.
Yes, but I'm gonna have Cam go first this time.
Yeah, okay. I can do that. Yeah, I think this is a movie that you have to let it kind of wash over you before you put it in any sort of particular category. I think this would be a movie that you could very quickly categorize as like sappy, melodramatic, things like that. But I think like if you do that, and if you start to write it off early on, you're going to miss some good stuff. Like there really are some good sequences in here, and some bits that will make you think and make you tear up and make you, you know, like it's, you know, it may be a little bit shallow here and there, but it's still like there's some good human elements in there, and there's still two really good actors on screen doing their thing. So I would challenge people to like, and I'm only saying this because I fight this within myself, to like, sometimes I'm 15 minutes in the movie and I'm just like, this is this kind of movie, and I like just like file it away and compartmentalize and disassociate. But you know, I don't think you can do that, and I certainly don't think you should do that with this kind of movie. That said, like I don't think this is a spectacular movie. I think this is a movie that was worth seeing, and you know is not going to be one of three of the Kogonada movies on the tier list. Like certainly not. And, you know, it's not going to be my favorite Margot Robbie or Colin Farrell performance either, but there's some good stuff in here. It's easy on the eyes. Kogonada is great at putting together a movie. There's a good score. There's some good moments. There's some good comedy. So I think a lot of people will get a lot out of it, and some people will get nothing out of it and be frustrated. So I'm at like I wrestled with this the whole way home, but I do think I'm at like a 6.0 on this. I don't feel comfortable going much higher than that, but I also really don't feel comfortable going lower. So like that's where I'm at, 6.0.
6.0. Stefano, you have the floor.
Yeah, no, I agree with basically everything you said there, Cam. And I think where some people may struggle with it, and I think some people had the same hesitancies with Materialists, but in a very different way. I was pretty high on that movie, but where you get a lot of the some elements of a certain genre. So you kind of get, like you said, the sappiness and all of that, but then it's also directed in a very artistic and specific way. And some of that artisticness may not, go over well with a crowd that's expecting a sappy, cry in your hands type movie. So
Yep.
I mean, I am interested to see what the general consensus is, like what the cinema score is. I know those were kind of nonsense, but that's, a pretty good telling of a gut reaction of a general audience. So but like you said, there's a lot to be, to enjoy in it. And I think most of it comes with expectations as well. We like the director, we love the actors in it. So, it was a bit let down in some portions of it. I'm with you. I think I'm a little higher just because I think generally how I score stuff's weird, but I think I'm at a 6. Hold up. Let me see what I gave a previous movie here really quick because I have
Checks notes.
because I have integrity.
Number 5,432.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll be I'm at a 6.6 on this one.
Okay.
6.6. So in the sixes.
The mathematics of your mind, Stefano. I want to live there for a day.
He's got a list of 10,000 films just sitting right there. He's like, hold on.
No, I have a list of the 60 2025 releases I've seen. So I just
There
want
you
to see
go.
what I'm
There you
comparing
go.
it to.
Are they in a Rolodex, though? Please tell me they're in a Rolodex.
No, they're in a
He's
spreadsheet.
got one of those things quarterbacks wear where they like flip it up and read the
Velcro.
play. Yeah. He's like, nah, this is the 6.6, guys. I love it.
Oh, I love it so much. I love it. 6.6, not 6.7. Nothing. No one.
Bad.
No one.
No,
Well, this is just for the 2025 crowd if you're listening to it. And,
they're long gone.
It's a
Kurt.
snapshot into the chaos of the
Any
of
fifth
Gen Z
graders
culture.
out there? That one's for
I actually
you.
have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You're not chronically online then, Stefano.
We're gonna have a long talk after these cameras stop, so get ready. Well, thank you so much for you two gentlemen for having the time to go see A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. We hope that you all of our listeners and all of our watchers will go see it. You can check out this. You're probably already seeing this right now if you're watching us on YouTube. Check us out there. If you're listening to us, check us out on YouTube. If you're not listening to us, check us out on our podcast on anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you want any of our content, visual, audio, and written, we've got blogs galore. Check out our website at popcorn4breakfast.com. That's popcorn4breakfast.com. Like, subscribe, share, tell everyone, send a carrier pigeon. We don't care. Just love movies like we do, whether it's your favorite movie or not. Special thank you to Ryan Spriggs and the band Rhetoric for our music and everything you hear, how pretty we sound. And of course to St. Louis Area Smoothie Kings, our title sponsor. Thank you so much, everyone, and we will talk to you soon.
See ya.